Hi and welcome to another Checiegirl Creation DIY video. So today I will be sharing with you the unboxing video for the Mixed Media subscription box for March, and the theme is memory journaling. So let's get straight to it and open this up. While I'm just doing that, I'll just let you know that there are still a few in stock. So if you would like to purchase one, please do follow the link below to take you right to my Ticktail site. So first, what you'll see is the welcome card, and it just says welcome to the Checiegirl Creations Mixed Media subscription box. And then on the back it has the contents. And I'll just go through that with you now. And it's wrapped with tissue paper, and all the packaging in here, except for like any kind of, plastic like self-seal bags, I try to coordinate with what I'm giving you so that you can use that in your art as well. So I think we'll start with this bag here, and also the confetti as well. I try to coordinate with the box's contents. So just open it up, rip it. So what we have here is a small acrylic stamping block, and you can see that says peel here. That's because it has a protective kind of seal on it. So I just wrote peel here just to let you guys know that you have to peel that off. I won't do that now though, I'll only do it when I'm going to use it. A date stamp. Some of them will look slightly different, the handle might look slightly different, but they all have like the same dates. And I won't be using this one because I already have one, so I'll just use the one I have already. And this one goes up to 2028, so we have quite a while to use it. And it has all like different numbers and stuff, and like dashes and stuff. And you can just adjust the date just by rolling these parts. So I thought that would be quite nice to include. You have some die cuts, and you get like 12 of these. And because the theme is memory journaling, some stuff looks a bit like travel stuff, so if you go on an outing, you can like put it in your journal, and you'll see that in a second. Just have a few different kind of die cuts. And as you're probably noticing, this box is very colourful. I thought I would just go all out with the colour. Spring's supposed to be coming soon, which means just new growth and everything, and flowers coming up, so I thought I would go really bright with this one. And then we have some gauze. And it has like a piece of paper to kind of keep it all together. So when I go to use it, I'll have to peel that off. And the gauze is 6 centimeters wide. And then it is 6 meters. So you get a lot of gauze here. And I thought that would be a really fun textile element to add to the box. And then you have this like travel themed washi tape. This is quite a thick washi tape. It is 3 centimeters wide, and you get 7 meters in it. I thought that might be cool as well. And then this Memento Dewdrop small ink pad, and that is Tuxedo Black. And this is by Sukineko. I have quite a few of these Sukineko stamp pads, and I thought it would be cool to have this to do some stamping with. And then the last couple things in this bag is 2 acrylic paints, and this is by Royal and Langnickel, and you get 12 mils in each tube. And everyone's going to get like different colours, so the colours I got was cadmium green and primary magenta 2. And I've tried to like make it coordinating colours so that it's quite easy to use for you guys. So looking forward to using those. So I'll just put this back quickly. Okay. And then next we have some stamps, which is what the stamp block and stamp pad go with. And this has a few different images. So this says believe in your dreams, yay. This is like a little bike, it's quite cute. A lovely dream catcher, a couple clouds. And then here it says dream big. There's a star and like a windmill kind of pinwheel thing. I can't remember what you call it. And these are all clear stamps, and you'll get the same stamp set. And then in here you have some different die cut elements. So I'll just open that up to kind of show you quickly. You get three different kind of frames, sorry, two different kind of tags, and like a couple like die cuts like here. So you have some like your luggage tags, and this made out of craft and white cardstock, and then some different size frames and stuff. And again, this is just all kind of to do with like the memory keeping aspect of everything. Stay in there. And again, you can see the packaging coordinates, so you could even use this in your art as well. I tried to make almost everything in this kit like usable. Okay, don't want to bend that. Put that back in there. Okay. And then next in this little package, you get your like paper pack and some Project Life cards. So in the paper pack, there's 6x6, 160 GSM, acid and linen free, and you get 12 different designs. And you get one of each design. So I'm looking forward to using that. Oh, I love this colour. So that is the paper pack. And then the Project Life cards, you get one large one, and they're double-sided, and everybody gets like slightly different. And you get 7 of these. Some of them have phrases on them, some of them just have images. I like how they're double-sided because then you could use them for tip-ins, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Maybe in this video or in a later one, because I do like to try to make at least 3 videos using the box's contents. Let's put that back. And then in this one, you have a few things. Okay, so you get 2 different kinds of squeegees, so like this smooth one, and then this one with like 2 different edges. So one's like wide and one's like small, so you could have to like scrape into paint, and you could use this to scrape on paint. So that's quite nice, and it's also really easy to clean. All you have to do is wipe it off, and I like to use things like that. And then you get a sticker sheet, and some of the stickers, some of you might get these kind of clear stickers, and some of you might get the stickers that like have a white back. And again, this is like travel themed. Actually, I'll show you on the squeegee so you can see it better. There we are. So that's nice. And then you also get a brush lettering pen. And this is water resistant, which is nice. So then you can use it a lot more in mixed media. And then you get this set of prompt cards made by myself. I'll just slip that out. So there's a few different prompts. You all get the same prompts, and you get 10 cards in the pack. and I'll show you how to use these like in the video once we start creating. And then you get two different kinds of mediums. Now, normally I give you like 100 mils of like mixed media kind of mediums. So before you've gotten like chalk primer, clear chalk primer, texture paste and stuff like that. But because it's like mixed media and like art journaling, chalk primer is very useful for that, especially if you have a journal that doesn't have the best pages and you need to get primed so that you can really use it how you want. And then I also wanted to give you guys something different because you have gotten chalk primer before. So I thought I would have 50 mils of chalk primer. It's just regular chalk primer. And then 50 mils of glass bead gel. It's one of my newer mediums, so this is the first time anyone is getting this in the box. And I'll open this up and show you how thick this is. Like, this is really very thick, and that's really fun to use as well. So I'm looking forward to using that. And then your base, because in each box I always provide you with a base, so you don't have to look for something to create on. It's already there for you. I'm giving you an art journal or sketchbook, whatever you want to call it. And it's got some really nice paper in it, so you don't really need to prime it. But the chalk primer is always useful, especially if you're going to add lots of water. That's great. Or if you make a mistake, you can just put the chalk primer over it. So it's got a nice craft cover. And quite a lot of pages, so the base will last you quite a while really, because you can use it. I like to just work on one side, so I'll work on like this side, but I won't work on the back. But you can use it like each side of the paper as well, and you can also decorate the cover. So that's the base. Put that aside, and then you get some decoupage paper by First Edition. It's called Arrows. I really like that pattern. Okay, that's that. And then last but not least, you get a piece of matte paper. And it's like from like a kind of A to Z book, so you get like this. Some of you might get like the backing of this as well, which is quite cool, especially if say like you have your home on there as well. That's really cool. Then you could use that. So that is the contents of the box. So I'll put everything back in, and then I will come back to create. I'm not sure whether, I think I will just do like a page in this first, just kind of like experiment with everything, see how everything goes, and then I might also decorate the cover and like the frames and stuff. That's for like, you can put pictures in and stuff, so you can do like a little bit of like kind of mixed media scrapbooking as well. But for this one I will just do just a quick page, just kind of experimenting and showing you guys what you can do with the products. So I will put this all back in the box and I will be back in a minute. Okay, so I thought I would do a voiceover to make sure that you guys know what I'm doing. So first I'm just testing out my brush marker. I was really looking forward to using this and I'm loving it. I love how like the strokes look. I did quite a loose sketch just to see how well it works and everything. And the nib is quite flexible, and it has like a quite nice snapback and everything. And it's a really nice juicy marker. Of course, it's new, and I just really like how nicely it makes my sketch look, like with all the loose brush strokes and everything. And I will have a photo up at the end so you can see the finished what it looks like properly. And I was thinking of doing some mixed media on that, but then I liked her so much just the way she was, I figured I would just leave it and maybe add to her later on. So you'll see that I completely forgot to use my prompt cards to start off with. I'll try my best to use it next time. So I'm just starting off using some of my decoupage paper, and I'm pulling out the large and small cloud stamps to use with my ink pad. And this ink pad is like ridiculously juicy. Some of the stamping looked a little bit like kind of blotchy because there was just so much ink and I wasn't expecting that much. My Sukineko stamp pads, I thought those were really juicy, but this one just beats them all. And it is a permanent. So once I add like paint and stuff over it, I can it's fine. The image won't run, and that's the same with the pen as well. And you can see that the stamp block is a bit too small to fit some of the images, so I just use my squeegee there and use the straight edge to try to line it up as best as possible. But of course, if you have a bigger stamp block, just use that. And I just added those birds using the brush pen. So I am going to stick down the paper using the glue stick, and I should have done that before, but I just wasn't sure if I wanted to keep the paper the way it was. So I'm doing that there, and I do add PVA glue later on to seal everything, but I knew my stamping wasn't dry, nor was my pen, so I just stuck with the glue stick for now. And now I'm just going to use that pattern paper to make my hot air balloon. So I'm just going to sketch it out. I do have one as a sticker, but it's a bit small, and I wanted this kind of to be like one of the focal images. So I'm just sketching that out quickly using my marker, just to see, just make sure I like how everything looks. And I'm doing it at the back so you can't see any of the lines. And while I'm doing that, I just want to say how much I really like this sketchbook. The page warped a little bit, not that much. I think if you add like loads of sorry, loads of water, it will. But it's like I didn't prime it beforehand, and the pen didn't soak through on my initial sketch, and none of the stamping soaked through either, and that is a really juicy ink pad. So now you can see I'm using my prompt cards and I'm shuffling it there, and it's that one says to add fabric elements, so like gauze, lace, you know, doilies. So I'm gonna add my gauze. And I'm just gonna cutting that into like a couple squares and just kind of pulling it apart, trying to make some like nice texture. And then I'm going to use it like as a mat for my hot air balloon. And then I'm also cutting some like thinner strips for the ground, and as well I'm going to kind of try to like distress the edges a little bit as well, and whatever extra I'm putting on that matte piece for the hot air balloon. And normally for this, I would use like some matte medium to stick it down, but I wanted to show you guys that you can use like whatever glue you have. So any wet glue really, tacky glue might even be better for this because it's a bit stronger, but I just use PVA glue, and I use a lot of PVA glue. And I'm using my palette knife there. You could use your squeegee with the glue, but I didn't feel like using like putting any glue on my squeegee, especially since I had that palette knife. But of course, if you don't have any extras, you can just use a squeegee or a like old credit card or something. And now I'm just putting the PVA glue just to seal everything in, making sure it's all stuck down. And then I'm going to get a, what am I going to do next? Oh yes, another prompt card. And that one said use a stamping tool, but I've already done stamping, so I cheated and put it aside. I'm not supposed to do that though. And then the next one I pulled says use texture paste, so I'm going to use my glass bead gel. And you can use any texture paste you have. If you have the previous boxes and you've gotten texture paste before, you could use that, you know, use whatever you like really. And I'm just using the squeegee to spread that around, and after I'm done with that, I will heat set that with my heat gun off camera. And I didn't add too much glass bead gel because I didn't want to have to wait too long for it to dry. So now I'm going to pick up another card, and it says apply chalk primer, which was perfect because normally at this stage I would start blending in the edges of whatever paper I've stuck down, which I'm doing now. And I'm just going to put the chalk primer in some other areas just to kind of add some texture. I'm not making it like any like smooth or anything. And at one point I did like go over one of the birds and it smudged, and I was like, oh no, the pen isn't permanent. But it is permanent. It just wasn't dry yet, so it did take a little while to dry, and I had just smudged it while it was trying to dry. And I haven't dried the chalk primer, so I'm just going to go straight in with my paint. And I'm just using my pink and my green. I am not adding any other paint colors. I could have, but I really wanted to show you guys how all you really need is the box contents and just maybe some kind of adhesive to stick everything down. And I'm just putting on like some pretty much thin layers with the squeegee, but then I put on like a kind of thick layer to scrape through with the other squeegee, and that's why I really like those. I have another tool like that I use with my jelly plate because that doesn't have sharp edges, but this one does. So that's a little bit better for like a journal page. And then I'm going in with the pink to put into the sky. And when I went over the birds there after I had heat set it with the heat gun, nothing smeared and nor did the stamping or anything. So I'm really happy with that. And again, just scraping in some patterns into the thicker layers of paint using my squeegee. Those are nice and easy to clean. I did forget to clean them straight away, but they wiped off pretty easy. And now I'm just adding some more chalk primer just to kind of blend in. The pink was just looking a bit strong, so I'm just trying to like mute that a little bit. And I did create mud in a few areas by accident, but that's not too bad. And then I'm also going to add some thick layers of chalk primer so that I can scrape into that as well. I do like adding that kind of texture, it's quite fun. And I'm trying my best not to cover up too much of my images either. So you can see I'm just adding that. And I'm just using my fingers. You can use a paintbrush and stuff. But if you don't want to get your fingers like covered with paint, you can always use a glove. I know some people do that. I quite like getting my hands messy, so I don't mind using my fingers. So I can see there that my hot air balloon is blending in a bit, and you'll see how I fix that in a moment. I wanted it to be blue, but I didn't have any blue paint with me, and the papers, I just didn't really want that kind of paper, so I just wanted a plain blue background. So I thought I would use the matte paper, and you can see I'm making a mistake there. I'm sticking it on the blue side. So then I realized, peel that off very carefully, then stuck it on the back side so that when I cut it out, the hot air balloon looks blue instead. And I really like how that looks, and that blue just looked really nice with the pink and the green, and it popped quite nicely at the end. So I'm going to cut those out using my scissors. It's just perfect that I already had that like paper from beforehand, because then the hot air balloon is quite strong, because since that matte paper is quite thin, it might not have looked as nice just by itself. So you can see that looks a lot better already. It stands out a lot more. But I thought it didn't stand out enough. So now I'm going to use some green paint to just kind of like brush along the top of the gauze, just to make it stand out a bit. And you can see first I'm just adding little bit by little bit, because I didn't want to add too much and have to like add white or something, because I didn't want a light green. I wanted the same dark green, just not too much, just overpower it too much. So you can see that looks a little bit better. And I think I set it with the heat gun at some point. I think before, no, not before I stick down the hot air balloon, just after, because you'll see in a little bit that I was kind of spitting top in mud because I hadn't dried it yet, and I really should have. So I wanted to stamp a phrase that says Dream Big from this stamp set, and I'm stamping it onto that paper that was like wrapped around the gauze roll, because that's like a kind of thick tissue paper, so it's not like too white, and it kind of blends in with the background, but it still stays nice and opaque. And I'm just tearing the edge so that it blends in with the page nicely, because I didn't want it to just look like a piece of paper I just stuck down. And so I'm going to use some PVA glue to stick that down. But before I do that, I'm just using one of the star stamps just to add some stamping. I thought the pages didn't have enough black, especially around the bottom, because those clouds up there just kind of off balance the bottom. It didn't look grounded enough. So I added some stamping. And now I'm going to do some sticking down. And you'll see that like the green pink kind of got on the hot air balloon. I was able to wipe it off a bit because I didn't really want green paint on it. And then after I stuck everything down, I set it again with my heat gun, and I'm using a lot of PVA glue to stick that hot air balloon down because it's on gauze and it's all textured. It's not like a flat surface. And tacky glue would have been better, or hot glue, but I just thought I would just work with the PVA glue I had there. And I'm also going to stick down the phrase, and you'll see how it kind of blends in a little bit. And again, I'm using my palette knife. You can use a brush as well to stick things down, but I've discovered that I really like using a palette knife instead. So when I come back, it's going to be all heat set. There we are. And now I'm going to start to add some detail with my brush marker. So first I started with quite thin lines, especially in the basket, and I tried to make it look like a wicker basket, but that didn't look too good. So then I just went across completely with the lines instead of just having that pattern. And then I'm also going to add the details into the hot air balloon. And at one point I'll use like the sticker of a hot air balloon I have just as a reference point. And I'm just thickening up those lines nicely, just to really ground and make it pop out of the page. And after that, I'll add some highlights. But oh, first, sorry, I have to add the ropes that connect the basket and the balloon. And I went over quite lightly because I didn't want to damage the brush pen or anything. And here I've made a bit of a mistake. I forgot to zoom out so you guys could see exactly what I was doing. But what I'm doing is just adding some doodly patterns and stuff around the page. Those circles, I added back the birds because they got covered up. I outlined that phrase. You can kind of see in the top right hand corner that I did that. And now I'm going to add some highlights to the balloon using my little finger and some chalk primer. And I really like how messy this page is. I really like how it turned out. It's really bright and not my normal style because I was just really working with just the contents of the box. And normally I would add quite a few things, but I thought I would be good and just use the content of the box. And I really, really like how this turned out, and I can't wait to do another page. By the time this comes out, my friend and I would have gone to a march last Saturday, like a women's march. So I'll definitely have to scrapbook that because I would quite like to use the frames and stuff. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And now I'm using my Uniball Signal gel pen to add some highlights. This is the only thing I've added except from glue and stuff that didn't come in the box. But if you got the September box, you would have gotten a Uniball Signal gel pen as well. So you can use that to add your highlights if you like. And I'm also adding some doodly bits as well around the page, as well as adding highlights to my main elements. And now I'm going to use some of the pink paint to just add some shading on the balloon. I love how this turned out because it was still looking too plain, but after I added the pink, it really stood out, especially against that kind of green background, and I really like how that looks. And I'm adding a few more marks with my brush pen. Again, sorry that you missed that out. I'll try to not get too much into it in the next video so you guys don't miss what I'm doing. So that is pretty much it. In a bit, I'm just going to add the date stamp and sign on the corner of the page. And yes, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And please do click that bell so you can get notified for any new videos. And there are still a couple in stock and some previous boxes. So follow that link in the description to get your box today if you would like one. And I will join you again for another arty video. Bye!